More than 400 organizers taking part in a demonstration called One Nation Working Together. Many of the participants affiliated with progressive and civil rights groups, unions, and religious organizations.
We came today in the shadows of the Lincoln Memorial, and if we can get connected, Blacks.
One Nation Working Together. More than 400 liberal groups gathering on the National Mall here in Washington today. The focus, jobs, education, and equality. We'll go to the mall for a live update. Well, back in this country, the One Nation Working Together rally is just getting started on the National Mall here in Washington. More than 400 mostly liberal organizations are involved in the effort, including the NAACP, La Raza, Code Pink, with a message focused on job creation, education, and justice. Molly Henneberg is in the middle of all the action, and she's joining us live from the mall. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Uma. Organizers today are calling this the most diverse march in history. They're expecting
folks on this beautiful autumn day in the nation's capital. These are live pictures from the One Nation Working Together rally that's underway on the National Mall here in Washington. Quite a crowd out there. Organized by labor and civil rights groups, the event is being billed as a time to focus on job creation, education.
Right now, thousands of people wrapping up a rally in D.C. Activists at the One Nation Working Together event, hoping to push folks to the polls this November and call attention to the needs of working class Americans. Large labor unions like the SEIU were in attendance and had this message. Listen.
SEIU brothers and sisters. Thousands of Americans took to the National Mall in Washington this afternoon. More than 400 liberal groups at the One Nation Working Together event, hoping to push folks to the polls this November. Their message, calling attention to the needs of working class Americans.
This is a transformative moment in America. This is about
wrapping up a rally in D.C. Activists at the One Nation Working Together event, hoping to push folks to the polls this November and also call attention to the needs of working class Americans. Large labor unions like the AFL-CIO and the SEIU attended the rally, with left-wing groups like Code Pink and the Communist Party USA marching as well. The coalition organizing the event calling on D.C. lawmakers to focus on job creation and help for those with
They're fired up. Thousands gathered a rally in the nation's capital. Their message is about putting people back to work.
It's about Americans working for good jobs, for equality and fairness, and for quality education.
We bailed out the insurance companies. Now it's time to bail out the American people. We need to rebuild the infrastructure and provide jobs and training for American people.
Reverend Al again providing the highlight of the liberal demonstration in D.C. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Geraldo Rivera. And before we get to Beck, we begin in D.C., where more than 400 groups, ranging from labor unions to environmentalists, from the NAACP to gay rights organizations, to churches. And yes, Reverend Al joins us. He was the highlight of this parade, this march, just as he was back in August, the counter to Beck's march. So, Reverend Al, what do you think of